Now on 767 News, farmers expected to benefit from low interest rate government-assisted loan while construction on National Abattoir is expected to recommence. Lack of exports to regional markets and politics in agriculture raises concern for DAPEX, and Chukuri residents set to benefit from road project recommencement. In sports, Super Eagles make commanding win over Fashion Line Falcons. Welcome to 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. I'm Alicia George. When 767 News returns, we'll bring you the latest stories and developments.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
Welcome back. First up this news time, $4 million is expected to be injected into the Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank, AID Bank, to be on lend to farmers interested in the pork and poultry market. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit made the statement while speaking on the progress of the National Abattoir project and its benefit to agriculture on the island on a recent radio show. The Prime Minister said loans will be made available to these farmers with a maximum interest rate of 4%.
The government has already taken a decision in principle to make available to the AID Bank some $4 million that will be on lend to farmers who are interested in pork and poultry at a maximum interest rate of about 4% or so that we can see more people into production and be able to supply, take advantage of this very huge pork and poultry market in Dominica.
According to the Prime Minister, the National Abattoir, which is still under construction, will serve the farmers well as Dominica positions itself to increase export produce to the region. Prime Minister Skerrit noted that although the project has been set back due to challenges with the project contractor, the contract has since been revised and the signing of the agreement is expected to take place soon so that the construction of the abattoir can continue.
For us to be able to take advantage of the local pork and poultry market, we needed to have built an abattoir. We have built an abattoir. Obviously, there were some challenges with the contractor. We have been able to resolve those challenges. We are in the threshold of signing a revised agreement. Both parties have agreed, as to the government and the contractor, and we're hoping that very soon they can come in to sign the contract and commence work.
Projects like the National Abattoir and the coffee processing plant, the Prime Minister said, is all in an effort to aid growth in the agricultural sector in Dominica. Prime Minister Skerrit added he does not believe that securing a market for agricultural produce is a challenge for Dominica. However, production of these exports must be increased if Dominica wants to be considered as a serious player in trade.
I don't think the securing markets is a challenge. I think what we have to do is increase production. Because whenever you speak to those persons who are, in fact, buying stuff to sell in other parts of the region and the world, including Dexter, you always have a problem of consistency in supply. Because sometimes the market requires you to supply them every week, and you are unable to supply them with the quantities that they require every week. So we have to address issues of the consistency of supply.
To address the issue of transportation, the Prime Minister said the administration has sought to purchase vessels for the export of agricultural produce, particularly to service the Southern Caribbean. The Ministry of Trade, he said, is currently in discussion with 2 firms who have approached the government, indicating that they are able to supply these vessels. Meanwhile, despite Dominica's export market being significantly large, Chairman of the Dominica Agricultural Producers and Exporters Limited, DAPEX, Grayson Stedman, says stakeholders are barely taking advantage of exports to the region. In an interview with 767 News, Stedman said the markets are available for the export of numerous types of produce. However, Dominica is not meeting the supply quota.
In the region, we're only supplying just about 35% of the demand for bananas in the region, which is mainly Barbados, Antigua, and St. Kitts. In the case of plantains, we have a situation where we're only doing less than 20% of our demands for those markets. So this is a serious problem for us. We also have a very good market for our dasheen and ginger in the United States, but again, that supplies are down, so we cannot meet those markets. So this certainly is a challenge for us at this time.
Stedman said there is a demand of approximately 25,000 boxes of bananas from the region annually, while Dominica is only able to supply under 35% of that quota, which translates to just over 8,000 boxes.
This is a challenge for us. In the same way in plantains that we can supply the market is some 7,000 boxes. We're only doing just 1,200. So these are some of the challenges, so that it means that it's a loss of income to the country and it's a loss of income to ourselves as a farmer organization.
Stedman said diversification in agriculture is very important to benefit from the demand of various types of produce.
There's a demand, there's a need that can be developed, like for example, there's yams, there's ginger, there's pineapples. So there are the demands for this crop and so on. But as I say that, we cannot supply those markets with the demand that we require, particularly in the northern part of the Leeward Islands, like Antigua, St. Kitts. They require a lot of this produce there.
What do you think is necessary for us to meet those targets, or even double at least what we're currently doing?
Well, I think what we need to do is to map out a good strategy where we have the public-private sector partnership, and let us have everybody together under one roof. Let us identify what are the problems, let us find solutions to them. Various parties will have various responsibilities in the process, and each party will be challenged to deliver on their promises and so on. I think that is the challenge that we face.
He called for the eradication of politics in the agricultural industry, which seems to be having a negative impact on the market. With that done, all stakeholders will be able to effectively form a partnership to adequately maximize exports of Dominica's agricultural produce while creating avenues for new markets, he said. And in other stories, ongoing works on the Toukery Road Rehabilitation Project have recommenced on the Toukery Hill. Speaking on its recommencement, Parliamentary Representative for the Cottage constituency, Honorable Reginald Austrie, said although the project was at a halt due to some challenges, it continues with great progress.
We had some serious challenges with that portion of works. Work actually stopped there sometime, 6 or 8 months ago, and the hill was in a terrible state. And that was for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being because of the unavailability of asphalt. The contractor had some delays until we decided to use concrete rather than use the asphalt. And so work started about 2 weeks ago in earnest, and I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks we would have completed that road. And when that is done, we're hoping that we can now go back down towards the Savant Bay area using concrete again. And that would probably put that road somewhere in the region of some 90% of completion. We have a little section in Lamouth there, just before you get to Clifton, that section to do, which would give us a completely and totally rehabilitated work.
Austrie said he is grateful for the hard work and support received from the team of workers and the Ministry of Public Works.
I need to thank the Prime Minister for making the funds for that available, the contractors who have been very diligent since they started, the workers there have been doing a pretty good job, and the staff of the Ministry of Public Works who have been very cooperative and supportive. So I'm saying to the persons of Cottage or persons traversing that road that for the next couple of weeks there will be some slight inconveniences. You may have to wait a little bit while the work is done, but at the end of the day, that sacrifice would be well worth it, since you'll now have a complete surface, and that hill, which seemingly to be dangerous, would have been brought to a standard to make the lives of pedestrians and passengers are much more comfortable.
Minister for Public Works and Ports, Honorable Ian Pinard, is hoping that the project will be completed in a few weeks.
The company has started, which is Dipcon Engineering. They have started the project. Work is going very well so far, and we're hoping to have that job completed in a few weeks. You know, we feel if the concrete work that's going on, the contractor should finish in a couple of weeks, and we're hoping to have that road done very nicely. And we're happy that we've had started, and it should be completed really soon. And after the completion, we expect that road to be a safe and a very good condition after that project.
The Tukari Rehabilitation Project, which includes concrete resurfacing of 1,300 feet of road, was contracted to Dipcon Engineering and Services Limited at the cost of EC $651,158.58. Should music be added into a school's curriculum, and how important is it in the development of education? According to Chief Education Officer Melina Fontaine, research shows that students who study music are more likely to excel in other subject areas as their ability to grasp new skills and knowledge become more fine-tuned. Fontaine at the time was making an address at the 2015 National Schools Arts Festival, where several secondary schools showcased their talents through choral speech and music.
Today we live in the information age in which students are more and more exposed to new knowledge through non-traditional forms such as computers, tablets, and cell phones. In this age of technology, our students must therefore be trained to apply creative thinking to problem solving. Participation in the arts encourages them to become critical thinkers and approach life's challenges with flexibility and imagination.
Fontaine said engagement in the arts helps students to stretch their minds beyond the boundaries of textbooks. Meanwhile, Jacinta David, Acting Chief Cultural Officer, called on the Ministry of Education to reinforce recommendations made by former Acting Chief Cultural Officer Pearl Christian, which she believes are still relevant at present.
Convincing effort must be made to secure tertiary education for interested persons with the necessary prerequisites to pursue teacher training in the arts. 3. The Ministry of Education must encourage teachers to participate in short-term programs organized by DIFA and the Division of Culture. 4. The idea of every school having a cultural or performing arts group be made mandatory, or at least be highly encouraged.
David said schools also need to be encouraged to allow students to participate in arts festivals in an effort to nurture their artistic side. In response, the Chief Education Officer said the government believes in the benefits of the arts and supports fully the efforts of the Cultural Division. She also highlighted the success of the Dominica Education Enhancement Project, where several teachers were recently trained in visual performing arts, including dance and theatrical production. More stories when 767 News returns. Stay with us.
I love family traditions, don't you? The fun you have when you're all together, preparing a meal that you'll all enjoy. Having the right kitchen appliances help bring it all together. And you can find them at Quartz. Appliances that give you more, fridges that keep food fresher, stoves that cook meals better. At Quartz, you get the world's best brands at the best prices. I love that, and you will too. For small and large kitchen appliances, Quartz, bringing value home.
Thanks for staying tuned. Eating healthy is important for the prevention of non-communicable diseases, including diabetes. However, General Surgeon Dr. Theodore Thomas says this is easier said than done. Dr. Thomas made the statement during a recent presentation at a workshop on caring for the diabetic foot.
Fast food is becoming increasingly popular on the island. Okay? And schedules are becoming increasingly occupied. Okay, so we have students going to college. Sometimes they leave home at 8 in the morning and they get back home maybe at 8 in the night. How can we advise this type of students or this type of adolescents to eat a healthy diet?
Dr. Thomas said another critical factor in healthy eating is inadequate finances.
Can we provide them financially with the money to buy a healthy meal every time they come to college? Can we do that? So I think what we have to do here is focus on prevention.
He said effectively combating diabetes, which is prevalent on island, require a multi-sectoral approach. Dr. Thomas explained that the majority of care for diabetics must be done at a district level. He said hospital staff will ensure diabetics take their medication daily. However, this type of care is not certain once they are back home.
That is where the problem is, you know. That is why I'm saying the load of the work has to be done in the district, because I do clinic, I do surgical clinic, but this is a specialized clinic. If I see you today, I see you, okay, I don't agree with the treatment regime. If I attempt to change it, who's going to do the follow-up? Because if I ask you to come back and see me next week, Friday, you won't get a date till maybe June to see me, then what happens? You understand? So that is where the problem is. The problem is targeting it at the source, where it starts.
The surgeon said the increased number of diabetic foot patients being admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital is justified. He said although this reduces the number of beds available, this is to ensure that diabetics get the special care they require, which will aid in the prevention of frequent admissions in the future. Dr. Thomas said this is only done for specific patients and not all diabetics. And in other stories, Desmond Francis Bertrand of Dubla will forever be remembered as instrumental in Dominica's fishing industry. This is according to Chief Fisheries Officer Andrew Magloire, who was also a close friend of Bertrand. The 63-year-old prominent fisherman died at his residence on Sunday, April 19, 2015.
Desmond not only appealed to the youth and young persons and persons already in the fisheries sector to see fishing as an opportunity to earn an honest and viable livelihood, but he was very instrumental in a number of key activities, particularly in the Dubla Beers community. One, if we recall the annual Fish Fest that takes place in the communities of Beers, Dubla, in the St. Peter's community. Desmond was one of the pioneers in terms of bringing forth those ideas and consolidating those ideas into an activity which has now become a national event.
Desmond's fishing prominence began in the mid-1990s when he left farming and began fishing on fish aggregation devices, FADs, quickly becoming a pioneer in the FAD industry. On a number of occasions in his fishing career, he topped the individual fish catch among fishers on the island and is still regarded as one of the top producing fishers in Dubla and Dominica.
Desmond has also a very, humble and spiritual person. He always felt that the bounties that was bestowed to him by Jesus, by God, in his own words, he felt that he had to give back to the community. And he was one of the fishers who always, from his catch, made provisions to the needy, the hospitals, the infirmary, and some of these other institutions where he felt that he had to make that contribution towards sustaining their livelihoods in terms of providing food for those persons who are in need. So those are some of the things that Desmond did. At the community level, he tried to influence change within his community. Some levels of respect he brought to a lot of fishermen in the community. So he was really a figurehead.
Throughout his career, Desmond trained numerous fishermen. He was selected by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and the Fisheries Division of Dominica to conduct training sessions with fishers in Grenada and St. Vincent. Under a capacity building project between the Fisheries Division and the University of Florida, he was a key team leader who provided leadership and guidance on a research project that assessed the efficiency of artificial lures at 6 landing sites across the island.
He was one of the persons who always advocated to fishers to make good of the livelihoods that they can obtain from the fishing sector. He had his own struggles, he had his own challenges. I know he always aspired to advance his fishing operations into more fast sea-going operations. And his last investment was in a 35-foot sort of multi-purpose fishing vessel, which gave him, in my view, some stress because when he first purchased that vessel, it was not in 100% condition, and we had from the fisheries department to assist him in some of the challenges that he faced there, and I think some of that also contributed to his ill health in my view, the stress that it brought to him.
Desmond was also a member of the St. Peter's Fisheries Cooperative, one of the most successful organizations of its type on the island. Acting Chief Fisheries Officer Revere Sebastian said Desmond always advocated for the strengthening of fisheries cooperatives and for fishers to fish for more redfish, squid and underutilized species of fish. The Fisheries Division and fishermen island-wide extend sincere condolences to the family and loved ones of Desmond. And that's it for local news this evening. The latest in sports is coming up next with Larry, so stay tuned.
Count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. For every $9 spent on Big 4, you get a raffle ticket to enter our weekly draws to win $4,000 cash every Thursday for 6 weeks. The more you spend, the more tickets you get, the better your chances of winning every Thursday. That's $24,000 in cash. So play Big 4, count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. Only from the Dominica National Lottery. Promotion starts from February 24th to April 2nd.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. In tonight's coverage, we focus on basketball. Super Eagles took a commanding win over the Fashion 9 Falcons on Saturday evening at the Lindo Park after leading by double figures for most of the game. At the end of the first half, the scores were 45-32 in favor of Super Eagles. In the third quarter, Falcons made a run, bringing the scores to within 10 points. However, in the fourth quarter, Super Eagles extended the lead back to double figures, ultimately winning the game by 17 points. Super Eagles had 5 players who scored double figures, 4 of those having double-doubles. Final scores were Super Eagles 92, Fashion 9 Falcons 75. Top performers for Super Eagles were Lennon Paul, double-double with 23 points, 10 rebounds and 3 steals. Andel George, double-double with 18 points, 12 rebounds and 2 assists. Hendricks Hallsborough, double-double with 17 points, 10 rebounds and 3 steals. And Nathan John Jules, double-double with 14 points, 12 rebounds and 2 steals. Top performers for Falcons were Kewan Thomas with a season-high 37 points, 7 rebounds and 2 steals. Edmond Williams Jr., 18 points, 8 rebounds and 4 steals. Javi Bellot, 11 points, 5 rebounds and 3 steals. And that's it for tonight's sportscast. Tune in again tomorrow for more sports.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of tonight's headline stories. Farmers expected to benefit from a low interest rate government-assisted loan, while construction on a national abattoir is expected to recommence. Lack of exports to regional markets and politics in agriculture raises concern for DAPEX. Tokari residents set to benefit from road project recommencement. In sports, Super Eagles make commanding win over Fashion 9 Falcons. And that's all for now. Until tomorrow, drop us an email at media@767news.dm. Friend us on Facebook and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a wonderful evening and thanks for watching.